Hello everyone, my name is Mia Hamid. You are watching Multicultural civic platform. Many seniors in Winnipeg face social isolation according to the government of Canada. It is important to raise awareness and compassion to assist organizations, friends, family members, and communities in addressing the specific social needs of these seniors, many of whom may be unable to voice their concerns to others. Today, we have Dr. Shabib and Laila Shabib in the studio to describe to us how seniors live in Winnipeg and what their fears and challenges are. Dr. Shabib, welcome. Sister Laila Shabib, welcome to
Thank you for
studio.
having us.
My first question will be to you. Can you tell us about your first few years in Winnipeg when you came?
Well, we're very glad to be here to start. In our first few years, we were students, both of us, at the University of Manitoba.
In
1968.
58.
58. No, that's the second one. Second trip. First trip.
1965.
1965. Yeah. I was a graduate student for my master's degree, which continued to PhD. And Leila was also a graduate student, and she was the head of the student, the Foreign Students Association.
How did you feel that time when you came?
We were young and energetic and doing everything we want. And we had a group of friends, also young and energetic, and they considered us their parents. They came every evening to her cooking at our home.
Did you know any organization that time that you think could have answered your questions or helped you out?
No, I don't think there was any. As far as we're concerned, we're not familiar with them.
No, there were no association that we knew of at the time.
Probably there were some organizations you were not aware of. That's why you didn't have the chance to contact them.
At that time, we were young, and I was a young mother, and my son was born here. I was pregnant when I came, and my son was born here, and I was having difficulties dealing. I already had a son, which is much older, 8 years older, and it's difficult. We had no way of asking other people how to deal with our children in this new environment. I was wishing that there would be someone who could tell me how to operate. And our son faced some racial difficulties at the time.
At school?
At school mostly. Other children, and even the principal of the school wasn't very cooperative. One day they asked him, how do you say screwdriver in Arabic? And he said it. And the word is equivalent to, it sounds like a bad word in English. So the teacher took him to the principal's office, or the student complained to the principal's office took him and slapped him on his hands with the ruler for saying bad words. He had no idea what was going on, you know. So that was mostly my problem, is how to deal with my son, the older one, and how to deal with the younger one who was sick. He had a hole in his heart, and it was really very difficult at that time. And I had no one to help me.
Did you have other people from your community?
We had no community at the time. Did we have any, Taylor?
No, we had some other students,
Yeah.
which are from the Middle East, but most of them were male, young students, and they took us as their parents because we had children, and we were not much older than them. So, in fact, we were mothering them in a way, being as a family for them, but I had no one to help me out.
How was your health that time, and what do you think compared to now? What difficulties are you facing, you think?
At that time, lack of an organization to help us if we need anything. But I think we didn't need much. We were okay. And we were actually like the parents of all other students. There were about 30 students from Egypt and other Arab countries, and we were their parents also.
No. You feel any difficulty in your mobility or going out or doing everyday, things like going for a grocery or going to doctor or?
As I told you, we
were young at the time.
We were young?
We were really young at the time. And, there wasn't so much. In fact, we tried to set up an organization to be able to help each other. But it was a student organization. It was not a family kind of organization. Grocery shopping, no. My English was very limited, so I enrolled in high school to evening classes. After Farouk would come home, and I would go and take some classes. But apart from this, my first language was Arabic and French, but no, very little English. At school, they didn't give us much English when we were young. Now we are facing other ailments as we grow older, and we need more help now. Then it's a different kind of help now. As we were growing up and growing older, we didn't envision that we would be in a health as we are now, or the help that we need now, actually.
What kind of help do you think you needed at this point of time, at this age?
At long or now?
Now.
Now. Now we are facing with a little bit of, problem of aging. We are not able to do the things that we used to physically. We're weaker, much weaker physically. We have some memory problems, quite a bit of memory problems.
What did we have this morning?
Yeah, exactly.
For breakfast.
Yeah.
Did we have breakfast? These
No.
are the questions I ask.
Yeah. Or the problem about this morning, he asked me about 10, 15 times, what are we doing? Where are we going?
It wasn't very clear.
Each time I was repeating to him what we were doing and what. We need some people to help out in communication, in helping out with him going and doing exercises. and walking or companions to free me to do some of the work that I need to do, the one that he was responsible for and he's not capable of doing, and the one that I was doing to begin with, and to do the housework and the cooking and the maintenance, although my strength is not as good as it was. I have a problem with my shoulder. I had several health problems past few years. So this is what's been happening. And we're really lucky comparing to other people who have no one.
Do you, when you came here, did you miss your friends and family back home? And do you still miss them, or what do you feel different now and then?
I do like to be. I'm very much a family person, and I try to keep contact with as many family members who are scattered all over the world now with the problem in Syria. And so I try to keep in touch with them as much as possible. We have family, cousins, and nieces and nephews still in Syria. We try to, by phone, by WhatsApp, by whatever type of communication, we try to keep in touch. But I don't feel that Syria is my country at all. Canada is my country. That's where I belong, and this is where I am.
Now we have, I think we have enough organizations to help the seniors, and every now and then we see that government is also propagating that they want to help the seniors in their later life. What do you think that the government should be doing in that respect? And also, what do you think your religious organizations should be helping you out, and in what way?
In my opinion, having companions, having someone to talk to, having someone to go for a walk, do some exercises with. Farouk is not the type of person who would, exercise by himself. And for brain at 90 years old, and his brain is starting to, challenge, he needs someone to communicate with him. He was an expert in mathematics, in computers. He can't do any of that. All of that job has been taken over by our son.
It's easier this way. I give him everything, and he does it. Why should I worry anymore?
But he goes to work on his computer, and he gets extremely frustrated. And the more frustrated, the less he's able to do. And he's unhappy. And I need someone to talk to him about it, to be with him.
How that could be possible? Do you think that, excuse me, the government is not doing enough to supporting the way you are saying that he needs help, second person companion to help him out, to take him out, or something like that?
We never think of the government doing that for us. We do it. We have lots of friends here.
I have to, at the beginning, when I assigned our grandchildren, one of them will come one day and go out with him, talk to him, and so on, keep him company, while I have work to do, because he needs attention, constant attention. And that's a bit difficulty because they have worked. All of them are working.
I have few friends here, young and old, that come to me and take me for a walk, for my afternoon walk or whatever. And we walk a couple of hours. I go with Layla to the parks, and there's a park called The Leaf, if you know it. It's a beautiful place. We go there and walk for hours. So we're okay in that respect. We don't need anybody. Up till now, we're okay. But maybe in the future, when I'm old, I'm not old now, I'm only 90. When I'm old, maybe we'll need somebody to come and accompany us.
You know, if something happens to me, you know, I fall. I fell, as a matter of fact, 3 weeks ago, and I had my whole face all smashed up. And I went to the hospital for CT scan and so on and so forth. What would happen to him?
That's a question.
That's a question. And we don't know. I would be needing, there are several associations, senior associations in Winnipeg. I tried to get in touch with them. He's not willing to make the effort to go and be there. I contacted the city of Winnipeg for some exercises and so on. The exercises are before noon. He has a hard time getting up. His legs are not working, you know.
Not working properly.
Yes, are not working properly when he gets out of bed. He has a hard time getting out of bed. I've got to help him. You know, things like that. But I don't know who else can do this. Who can help that way?
This morning we were discussing this. She says, what are you going to do when I die? What am I going to do when she dies? I told her, you're not going to die before me, so don't worry about that.
Do you think if we have a senior home of our own community, and most of us probably want to live in there, where we can have the facility of being doctor coming regularly, checking seniors who need them, and having a pharmacy at the same place, this kind of
and activities are extremely important. Physical activities.
A friend of
the
ours,
brain will not work unless it has physical, nutrition, and health. They need that.
Let's say if we have our own senior home where we have 50 or 100 families living there,
I think this is very important. You should have a senior home for Muslims.
I think
now,
it's very
whether
important.
We personally will join there, I don't know yet.
Well, it'll be too late for us anyway.
It'll be too late.
By the time it's done.
But there are very good homes here.
You know, somebody has to seed it. Put a small plant in it or seed it in the ground, and maybe the person who is doing it will not get the benefit.
Of course.
But the chances are that if the plant goes up, there will be people who will be benefiting. So if not us, then maybe our next generation.
Hamid, I have been of this opinion for 20 years. And I talked to you about it before. We need a home. And this is how, it will be helpful for everybody. The new places, I know that a friend of ours went to a senior home. Her husband passed away. She's in a bad shape herself. And they had to sell the house and put her in a home. The home is very beautiful. I went and visited. but it's extremely expensive. People can't afford it. Not everybody can afford it.
Yes.
Okay? So a home of our own, we will be more in control of, and they have beautiful activities, they have beautiful home, they have beautiful setting, they have doctors and so on and so forth. But it's huge, and I'm sure it's private, and private is not like our own.
No, I was talking to some of the politicians, you know, the government is helping the communities to build their own senior homes where they can live comfortably and practice what they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, being a Muslim, if we have that kind of a place where we can exchange ideas, talk to some people on a regular basis, work out there, and at the same time we can practice our, our
religion. Yeah. Well, I'm sure the government will help us build a home for Muslims. All we need is some active young people to do work about it. So I'm calling for all of you young people watching us, get together and do that. The government will help us, I'm 100% sure, financially, and build a beautiful home for all our seniors.
What is your advice to the coming generation or the our kids, who are grown up, have their own families now, and our organizations to think on what lines to help the elders and pioneers and the seniors who work hard to build up this community of their own, and they are still energetic, some of them who can be part of the building up communities.
Well, my advice to them is, look at us older seniors, and this is how you're going to be. When I was younger, even 3-4 years ago, I didn't think we'd reach that stage of dependency to a certain extent, And I think it was an eye-opener. I never thought that we will be hampered by all those things that are happening to us. I was thinking of traveling and going and moving. Well, we can't, unfortunately. It's not that easy now.
Well, personally, I do have organizations helping me. There is one for my mind, where I go and they keep my mind alive. I go just every day for 4 weeks, and then they take a break, and then another 4 weeks, and so forth. We have an organization where I go for exercise, physiotherapy.
But it's not here, it's in the States.
That's in the States. When we go to the States, that's what I join. Beautiful. They make me do things that I like to do with the fun and exercise together.
They are supervised under direct supervision.
And
he did quite a bit. He was falling all the time. He couldn't get up. He couldn't, walk. He has a hard time going off the steps of the sidewalk. He improved quite a bit with the help when we were
what
in
they
the
call
States.
me there? The 90-year-old young man.
But in here, we don't have that. In here, we don't have that. That's what I would like to have him being occupied on something which is healthy for him. In here, we have reached to an organization at Riverview who is doing some kind of not experimental, some work on the brain, activate the brain with electrodes to a certain extent to see how, if it can affect and rebuild some synapses. And he has been engaged in that twice already, once last year for 6 weeks, once this year for 6 weeks, and hopefully he'll go for maintenance in October again, because they have to have 3 months difference between them, which will help to stop the dementia. Because let's say it, it is dementia.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Caused by small heart attack, you know, very little, you know, what do they call it?
Alzheimer or, you know, these kind of ailments.
Yes.
No, it was not in the heart. It's not in the heart.
It's
in the blood.
It's a blood circulation. It's a small, what do they call it?
They have a special name for it. I forgot it. I wish I weren't that old. I forgot it.
It is a ischemic strokes, small strokes. And actually he had the brain scans, and they found that there are some spots all over which are not, it's not Alzheimer. It's just one type of dementia which affect and kill the synapses in the brain. And so we're trying to do all kinds of things to help avoid this, because let's face it, I read in the paper the other day that there are more and more people who are living to 100 and over 100 years old, which means government has got to start thinking about those people and thinking, what can we do to help them live almost an independent life, almost, and I say almost. That's the dilemma right now.
What will be your final words to wrap up this session?
Well, I'm going to ask every senior here to find themselves a young friend and adopt him and stay with him, and he'll take care of you.
It's a dream come true. Come on.
I have many young friends that take care of me here, right now in Winnipeg.
Well, we
come to my
befriended home. Many of the young young people who came refugees 6, 7, 8 years ago, and we have kind of adopted them as our adoptive grandchildren. You know, and so they come and visit sometimes and help him out, but this is not given to everybody.
Yes. To conclude this session, I am thinking that we should have a community brainstorming session for one day conference at the Grand Masjid with the help of MIA.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent.
To see that what kind of help we can have to have our own senior home that can more facilitate us at this age. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be on you.
Thank you, Mia, for bringing up that subject. It's an important subject.
It was a
pleasure.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure being here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for watching Multicultural channel. If you see anything good in the program, please convey the message to other people what you see. Thank you so much.